I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, June the 28th, brought to you in part by the Witex Corporation. Witex is providing livestock producers with excellence in animal health, more than just ear tags. Go to y-tex.com for more information. Big auctions before the break. Most all your cattle auctions will be closed next week, starting with all your high volume sales on Monday the 4th. They'll be closed and be hard to find any sale barn that's open next week, including your entire southeast and a lot of your sales in the upper Midwest and the northern plains. They've kind of been going every other week as it's already been, because they just it's a long ways between those sales, and they hate to have buyers come to the sale if they don't have enough to offer them. But we've got a big push this week, and we've seen some big sales already just on your Monday with your high volume sales. Really big. We're going to talk a lot about that here later on in the report, but was just getting back to the friendly confines here in Canyon, Texas, but spent most of last week and over the weekend down in the San Antonio area. That's Central Texas, but southern part of Central Texas. And man, I thought it was dry in the Texas Panhandle. I mean, we're used to it being dry. It is scary dry in Central Texas, especially the southern part down there. But they are already worried about next year's hay. Everything is brown. They're used to and need a lot of rain in that area, and they haven't had hardly any. Tell you what, the creeks and ponds are dried up. That Guadalupe River that runs down through the cities there that the hippies like to get into won't even float a fat girl right now in an inner tube. I watched them try to do it, and it doesn't work. So it's really a scary deal there. They've got to get some rain in that part of the country in a hurry, and lots of it. But come back up on Monday to the Texas Panhandle, and I guess everybody has the reasons why they live where they do, but it was very evident why I live in the Amarillo area. Come in Monday evening and met my old buddy Keith Williams I used to work with in Amarillo for supper, and it was 7 o'clock, and it was in the low 70s, no humidity, cheaper diesel than anywhere I'd been for 10 days, and very little traffic. So that's the reasons I live where I do. Everybody has reasons they live where they do. Some people don't have a choice. They're anchored to the ranch or farm that they live on, but they love that too. But my dad used to always say the best part about being from northeastern New Mexico is everywhere else you go, you really like it. So I thought that was pretty good. But we get done next week, and we're going to take several sessions off here on the feeder flash too. We get done next week, being on break for 4th of July week. We're going to get into some big videos, and some of them are going to be during that time whenever everybody's off for the sales. But no problem, those big ones that we got next week, we got them on dvauction.com. You can view and bid on those. Coming up on July the 5th, South Coffeyville Stockyards is going to have a pretty good sized video there, and I'll be there to take those bids, but that's going to be on dvauction.com. On July the 7th, on a Thursday, Primetime Livestock Video through Joplin Regional Stockyards is having their big bang sale. 35 to 40,000 head of cattle. Going to be selling those from Downstream Casino in Quapaw, Oklahoma. I'm looking forward to going to that sale. We'll get into the next week. Western Video Market will be in Silver Legacy Casino in Reno. They've got a 3-day video there. That'll be on dvauction.com on top of Western Video or wvmcattle.com. But I'm not planning on going out there. I do enjoy going out there and being with those Western Video guys, but I don't have plans to go out there and do that. The same time that's going on, Superior Livestock will be having their week in the Rockies from July the 11th through July the 15th. Go into the next week after that. Northern Livestock Video will have their biggest video of the year. It'll be the Summertime Classic there, July the 18th through the 20th. But be a lot of cattle marketed right after the 4th, guys. And we will get those prices set on the summer delivery yearlings and likely even some of the fall delivery calves on those sales, and then that couple 3 weeks right in there. But we're seeing this market really run up here, even pre 4th of July with these big sales right now. The weather's kind of cooled down, at least for a few days here, and it's been pretty nice. But we've got a lot of big feeder cattle markets to talk about at the end of this report. So let's talk about your board to open the week on Monday. June live cattle futures up 90 cents. Now that's about 10% of what it needed to be up to get close to your 5 area weighted average on live cattle last week. And the June live cattle contract is mature. A lot of people talking on Monday about how broken the board is, and if it can't get any closer than that. Of course, most of your cattle feeders use that for a hedge, and they like the basis that they got right there. But there's no wonder that we can't get any longs to come into the live cattle contract whenever they had every right to be at least 7 or 8, but as much as $9 or $10 higher than that. And they got that. A lot of them got ran off by the surprise deliveries last week. But it's a pretty shallow contract there, and when you can't offer any promise to a long, then it's going to just be heavily favored by your shorts. And you think, well, what's the problem with that? I've got to hedge my cattle, and I get that big fat basis. Well, if it's always going to be heavily to the short side, it's never going to be able to open up the top, and if we keep it under pressure all the time, to a certain extent, it's going to keep your cash market under pressure, and it's just undervaluing everything for everybody from the cattle feeder all the way down to the backgrounder and down to your cow-calf producer there. But it's not a good deal when the board's that far out of whack. August live cattle contract end of the day on Monday up just 10 cents at 133.47. Back months were all up 20 cents to 70 cents. Feeder cattle contract, August was up $1.62, ending the day at 174.12. September up 172, ending the day at 176.80. Your back months on feeder cattle were up 65 to up 220. And you thought, well, corn must have been cheaper. It was some, but not a lot. Corn opened the week, first day, down 6 cents, ending regular trading at 7.44 1/4. Beans up 19 3/4 cents at 16.30 1/2. And Kansas City hard red winter wheat, that volatile thing there, right here during the meat of the harvest, is falling like a rock. Down 19 3/4 cents on Monday, settling at 9.72 3/4. Wow, man, that thing has been for a wild ride here this spring and early summer. Let's talk about your weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle trade in your 5 area feeding region. Sold 84,300 head negotiated compared to 93,800 the previous week, and just 39,300 head sold negotiated in your 5 area feeding region same week a year ago. Live steers and heifers, the trend on them was steady with your wide price range, $14 price range there between your lowest price in the southern plains of 136, which only 50 head traded there, all the way up to 150 in Iowa and Nebraska, where we had 7,400 head trade there. So, it needs to be higher within that range. And your weighted average on live steers was 144.55, up 88 cents. You talk about your dress sales of steers and heifers, $4 to $5 higher with the price spread, but really should have been $4 to $7 higher, because there was only 200 head that traded at 228, and that was the only trade on a dress basis there negotiated up until 230. So the lion's share was from 230 to 240, which had only been a $10 spread. and it's hard to believe that your dress sales have a narrower spread than your live sales. And man, things are really out of whack with the disparity between the northern premium and the southern discount. But dressed steers and heifers, dressed steers had a weighted average of 235.22. That was up $5.49, which your dress trade is almost entirely in the northern feedlot area, and that's where we gained ground. And man, shows how much it gained right there. Nationwide, we had 94,600 head of negotiated sales. Only 28% of those were for the 15 to 30 day delivery. But negotiated grid made up 46,700 head of sales. Forward contracting, which was interesting last week, forward contracting only 6,900 last week compared to 15,400 the previous week, 27,700 the same week a year prior. Formula sales 264,800 head, and and that's the main problem with not being able to negotiate, because especially in the southern plains, they trade them all formula or AMA, and it's dang hard to gain a dollar whenever you're trading off last week's market all the time, and you don't have enough cattle in loose hands, you don't have enough people trading them in a negotiated manner to ever gain any ground like the northern plains. Now granted, they are shorter on market ready cattle in the north and in the Midwest, especially in Iowa, but still. Did have a little bit of trade that was reported on Monday in Texas. 300 head got reported at 137. So, that would have been about steady. We're not sure how much trade we're going to have this week, because we've got this week leading right into a holiday week, which, a lot of your plants are going to be closed on Monday. Probably very little slaughter going to be going on Saturday. So they're not going to need a lot of cattle, but the heck of it is, they're short bought, don't have a lot of cattle. So it may be a good time to see what this market might do. I did hear a rumor, it was not confirmed on a USDA market report, but did hear a rumor late on Monday that they sold some cattle at 140 in Kansas to a Midwestern regional that are going to be trucking them north for slaughter though. But that would help. We'd like to see something like that, and why not price those things at least at 140, if not 145. But what can they bring in an auction sale? How about Aberdeen livestock sales in Aberdeen, South Dakota? They sold a load of drug-free fat steers weighed 1475 for $158.90. Box beef cutout values were sharply higher on choice on Monday. Choice cuts 268.68 up 370, so trying to recover a little bit, even though it's not supposed to happen right now. Selects up just 22 cents with that choice select spread widening, but select settled at 245.24 Monday afternoon session. Talk about what else is going on. Beaver County Stockyards is a market that we support here to Feeder Flash. They do a good job. They are broadcast on dvauction.com every Tuesday. They're sitting in a very lonely part of the world there on the eastern side of no man's land, the Oklahoma Panhandle, but I say it quite a bit, and man, that just rings true all the time. They are absolutely in the middle of nowhere, but it's not very far to a lot of places that are important. So if you guys are looking for a place to go, looking for a place to buy some cattle or sell, check out Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma. Talk about your feeder cattle markets. Your real-time index on DV auction late in the day on Monday sitting at 165.90 based on an 800-pound steer. That was $1.05 higher than the end of last week, how the index ended last week. We're way past your CME cash feeder cattle index. It's always lagging behind. Why they decide to use these tools that aren't keeping up, I'm not sure. But real-time index almost 166 there late on Monday. Had a lot of big sales there. Don't forget, here today on Monday, here today on Tuesday, Unionville Livestock Market's having a barbecue special. Kurt Sportleader said he's going to have around 3,000 head, and they will be top quality, guys. That's extreme north central Missouri. I also want to mention Ozarks Regional Stockyard in West Plains, Missouri. Going to have their regular sale on Tuesday, but they are going to be having a larger in-house video than typical. They usually always sell several hundred on there, but looking maybe 1,500 to 2,000 going to be on the in-house video at Ozarks Regional Stockyard in West Plains, including in there 780 head of these. Dr. Ryan Grant, he's a veterinarian there local, he's got 70% black. They are colored up some, but they fit together. Been running out for a long time. Hard yearlings with just a tick of age to them. They would feed like a house on fire. You see how slick-hided they are. They would feed cool going through the rest of this summer heat, guys. Weighing 825 pounds coming out of Jay, Oklahoma for current delivery. And that video auction will be on dvauction.com, and they start that at 1:30 in the afternoon. They'll stop the regular sale and start selling those video lots, and they have several here today on Tuesday, so be sure and check them out. Talk about your big high volume sales on Monday. Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City, 8,250 head of feeder cattle on Monday. Pretty good run. It was cooler, been cooler for the last several days up through this part of the country, and it was nice and cool, expecting it to heat back up. Of course, it's that time of the year, but no sale next Monday, of course, in Oklahoma City. But this week, feeder steers sold $2 to $6 higher, feeder heifers $1 to $4 lower, calves were $2 to $4 higher. Joplin Regional Stockyards, of course, had their big yearling special that I've been talking about for the last several sessions here. Had nearly 11,000 head of cattle in Joplin. It was nice and cool in Joplin. Also, talked to them there. They said, mid-afternoon, barely 80 degrees there, and not too humid, and just really nice day to move cattle and ship cattle and sell cattle. Buyers were aggressive. Had over 100 load lots in there of hard yearling cattle coming in. No sale, of course, next Monday in Joplin. But this week, feeder steers sold $5 to $8 higher. Feeder heifers sold steady to $4 higher, as called by Federal State Market News Service. Look at this automated market report from Cattle Market Central. Look how many of these yearling cattle that they had in Joplin on Monday, and look at what they brought, and look how consistent that market was. That's what Jackie Moore has always wanted, is a consistent market. And I noticed he was auctioneering there, which normally the Sons do it, but he was selling for the special there. And man, what a consistent market they had right there. 1,085 head of 6-weight steers, and they'd be mostly all yearling type, guys. 640 pounds on the average. The weighted average price of $180.32. That was a weighted average $9 higher than a week ago. 1,176 head of 7-weight steers, average $749. Weighted average price $169.12, up 7 6 bits from the same weight range and sale last week. 1,719 head of 8-weight yearling feeder steers in Joplin, averaged 865 pounds. Weighted average price $164.07, up well over $4 there. And 807 head of 9-weights, averaged $930, $164.90. I'm going to tell you here in a minute why those 9-weights averaged more than your 8-weights, but up nearly $4.50 on your 9-weight feeder steers. Big slug of heifers in the 7-weight category, 1,409 head of 7-weight yearling heifers, average $740. The weighted average price of $155.57. That was a couple bucks higher than last week too. But the stick out sale in Joplin, and why your 9-weights are so much higher, 231 head of these 956 pound steers bring $169.50. Not in Valentine, Nebraska, not somewhere in Iowa, not in Fairfield, Illinois, in Joplin Stockyards, or in Carthage, Missouri, at the Joplin Stockyards, guys. Big time quote there, big time. Talk about some other sales around the circuit. How about Aberdeen livestock sales out there in Aberdeen, South Dakota? Told you about some fat cattle they sold on Monday. How about 62 head of 894-pound steers, bring 173.75 in Aberdeen livestock sales. Another South Dakota market, Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota. DV auction customer there. They sold 330 head of 1,149-pound warmed up steers at $161. Are you kidding me? But the top quote for the day, National Beef Wire top quote, Butch Foster blows them all away. My longtime buddy Butch Foster, who's a marketing specialist for Virginia Cattlemen's Association. They have regular tele-auctions there, kind of board sales that they take the bids over the telephone. They do broadcast with DV Auction when they have their tele-auction specials, but this was just a weekly tele-auction there, and he sold a load of cattle, Amelia area there in Brunswick County, Virginia, 59 head of steers, weigh 8 1/4 at 183 1/4. They deliver on Thursday. They're going to Pennsylvania to feed, and I mentioned to you several visits ago that they're short on chickens in that part of the country. Most of those guys are getting feed in there cheaper than they're getting in the Midwest, which is not typical, but that's a big time price on some 800 1/4-pound steers, 183 1/4. Congratulations to Virginia Cattlemen's Association's weekly tele-auction. Congratulations to my buddy Butch Foster. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.